Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, the 29th of July. It is the prodigious, the prominent Professor Johnson at Proclamation News and Governance. I just forgot to log into my Castbox. How ironic. I've just a bit of a technical issue. I forgot to press the button, that's all. Thank you all for joining in. I really appreciate everyone coming through the show. Like to say we're part of that aristocracy social elite, even the listeners, because they're both observed and preserved. Thank you ever so much. As usual, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, go through the car instance, then we have a short break and get on with the rest of the news. We've got politics, criminology in Essex, Relax UK Limited, health, travel and wellness products since 1997. UK relaxation shops selling various ranges of products for relaxation, travel and well-being, biofeedback, sleeping and natural products. PSS alarms are helping conversation today. Fair, etiquette and pragmatic works carried out. All areas are covered, including central station monitoring provided, all work done according to insurance requirements. This is a friend of mine's company. He's carried out works in Harry Kane's stepmother's house in Hertfordshire, Potter's Bar. He's carried out etiquette works in Essex, such as Casbah Restaurant and many more big businesses. Please get a pen and paper ready to take this number down as well. Installation and maintenance of intruder alarms, fire alarms, CCTV, all work guaranteed and certified to SSARB standards. With 24-hour call-out service, can provide CCTV for pubs, clubs, restaurants on your business setup. Secure your business. Mention Professor Johnson for extra discount. Secure your home. Secure your business. Your safety and quality in your business are paramount. So think safety, think first. Secure your equity. Before I give a number, I just want to give any innate parents, mother or father, if you want to get custody or joint custody of your children, please leave me a message and I will get back to you and help you support your claim into court, providing that you have changed, you better your aspiration in life. For whatever reason, everyone has a chemical imbalance for a breakup relationship 9 times out of 10. Everyone deserves their rights, but only if you change your aspirations and better your well-being. I want to help people that are, trying to better themselves to be a better parent for their children. If I think you're down out and I check you on that government name, under the Clare's law, if you've got convictions recent, I will not help you in any shape or form. But if you are fluent as a nice person, I will help you get custody of the children. Not full custody. I don't believe that one parent should get full custody. It should be a joint application. Kids need both parents, and I will help you through the court process. So please leave me a message if you're struggling. Struggling to get any support. It's not easy to get support in court or through court. I can give you a hand. Please let me know. Leave me a message on my YouTube or my Castbox. On Facebook, I'm Proclamation Johnson, so you can always find me there too. Anyway, mobile number, take a pen down, 07908 216 142. 07908 216 142. Ask for Tarek Khan, and to get a discount, it is Professor Johnson. If you want to help through court and help with fees through court, I can help you get it. If you're not working, I can help you get the help with fees through court. If you're working, I think you have to pay a percentage, and it all depends on your income and expenditure. You probably get a percentage off, I'm quite sure. But anyway, before we're looking at the road incidents, before entering the road in any country, not just UK roads, do not enter the vehicle under sleep deprivation, alcoholism or narcotics. Making sure you have plenty of sufficient sleep before acting emerging onto the roads. Think of others, the innocent drivers, elderly, young couples, anyone on the road other than yourself that's not under the influence is a vulnerable person on the road and innocent. So always think before acting and using a vehicle, you're held responsible. You got your driving license, you got insured. Maybe some drivers ain't insured, so you got to make sure you're insured, tax, MOT, make sure your MOT is updated, making sure your engine management light's not on, check what the fault is if it does come on. Make sure check your PSI limits, make sure they're topped up to maximum level, checking your tyres, make sure they're not bulged. Check your engine oil, check your engine oil, water, coolant tank, making sure they're topped up to maximum level. Check your speed limits, further police signals. Make sure making sure motorists or other vehicles not overtaken before acting in safe, sufficient direction of choice. Right, look at an instance today, Southend-on-Sea. Slow traffic on the A127. Arrival, arterial road both ways at the fairway. Progress road, delays heading in and out of Southend-on-Sea. Travel time is 10 minutes. This is reported at 3:05 today. Another incident in Southend. The Western Esplanade, slow traffic on the Western Esplanade both ways around Adventure Island. Delays along the coast. At Southend, there's Colchester. Head Street, lanes closed, heavy traffic, unsafe building. One lane closed and heavy traffic due to unsafe building on Head Street. One-way street and A134 Southway to the Centurion pub, both closed around 10 AM. However, one lane remains closed past the scene to assist. 29th of July 2021 at 5 minutes to 9 AM. A312, this is sort of north-west of London. Queuing traffic, congestion to queuing traffic on A312, Pets Hill, both ways from Willow Tree Lane, Willow Tree Roundabout to A4090. Wirral Avenue West, Pets Hill Roundabout, congestion to Polish War Memorial Roundabout via West End Road at 5:05 PM. Incident not far off Westminster here. Oh no, same one. North east of London, A12, earlier stalled vehicle, queuing traffic, all lanes closed to be reopened. Queuing traffic due to earlier stalled vehicle on A12, Eastern Avenue, northbound before A406, North Circular, Redbridge Roundabout, lane 1 of 3 was blocked. All lanes have been reopened. This was first reported at 5 PM. So you have a quick short break, ladies and gents. Stay with me. I've got to tag all these on my Twitter page while I have a quick break to keep everyone in the loop. It's not just the listeners, it's people that follow my channel on Twitter as well. People need to know about driving safe, avoiding congestions, further pile-ups. There's a lot I do that people don't acknowledge.
News, weather.
Overnight, heavy showers will clear for further showers on Friday in London. I'm Adam Barber. I've got a full forecast coming up in just 15 minutes' time.
LBC News, travel.
There are some long queues on the M4 at the moment. The London-bound carriageway, the M4 eastbound, partly blocked between Junction 5 at Langley and the M25 exit slips. A multi-vehicle collision there. There are queues back past Slough now and delays of 20 minutes. The clockwise M25 partly blocked on the exit to the Brook Street roundabout at Junction 28. It's broken down there, blocking the inside lane. Delays continue through Putney, the A219, Putney Hill and Putney High Street, very slow because of roadworks near Putney Heath. I'm Adam Moore. Your next update is in 20 minutes here on LBC News.
This is LBC News.
Good evening to you. It's 2 minutes past 7. Nick Qureshi here on Thursday evening. LBC News top story tonight. Another record number of people have been told to self-isolate by the NHS COVID app because of contact with a positive case. Nearly 700,000 users were pinged in England and Wales in the latest weekly figures. Of course, fully vaccinated people won't have to quarantine after the 16th of August. Certainly as far as England is concerned, the Chancellor Rishi Sunak, who's been speaking today in Scotland, says that date will not be brought forward.
I completely appreciate people's frustration with all of this, but I think it's the right approach as we exit the restrictions to do so in a cautious way and to do so in a way that protects us. And that's what this does. The Prime Minister's been clear about the date. That's the right approach. And in terms of exemptions, what we have outlined is quite a significant set of exemptions for critical industries, critical workforces to enable that essential part of our economy to keep functioning. But what I say to people is, look, I know it's frustrating. Please stick with it. It's just a few more weeks. And then we can, as I said, all look forward, hopefully, to a very good summer.
Just very quickly, you've asked the OBR to publish its fiscal forecast on the 27th of October. Does that mean we can expect a spending review or a budget?
We definitely will have a spending review in the autumn, and we'll set out the date for that in due course.
Now, the Foreign Secretary says the government's increasingly confident more international travel restrictions will soon be relaxed. Dominic Raab has confirmed the rules for France, which is currently on the Amber Plus list, will be reviewed next week. From Monday, restrictions will be eased for fully vaccinated visitors from the US and the EU. Virginia Messina from the World Travel and Tourism Council wants Washington now to reciprocate.
This crisis has been completely devastating for the travel and tourism sector and all the millions of small businesses that depend on it. So we know more than 62 million jobs were lost in 2020 as a result of the complete stop in activities across the sector. So I think the government is doing well by really taking advantage of their successful vaccination rollout and starting to allow travel from key source markets into the UK without quarantine. In terms of what these travellers bring to the UK economy, just in 2019, international visitor spending represented more than 36 billion, and only 4 billion came from the US traveller. So among the top 5 source markets for the UK that come from the US and EU countries. So it's incredibly important for the economy. Now, in terms of the reciprocity, absolutely, we won't see the full benefits unless the US comes up with a similar move. We know there's working groups in place and there's been conversations in place for many months now to really unlock transatlantic activity for both business and leisure travelers. So we do hope that hopefully before the end of the summer, we'll see a similar announcement from the US.
So that you with the figures, then the number of new coronavirus cases recorded in the UK has risen for the second day in a row, following, of course, that week of falls. It's increased by nearly 3,400 from yesterday to 31,100. 22 million infections and 60,000 deaths in England. New figures also suggest the jabs have directly meant 52,600 fewer people have been admitted to hospital. These statistics cover the period up to last Friday and are based on modelling from Public Health England and Cambridge University.
This is LBC News.
6 minutes past 7 now. The Met Office is warning of gale force winds of 75 miles an hour, coupled with heavy rain.
Let's pause there, guy. We're going to move on with the show. Thank you all for staying patient, to be fair. Looking into the UK politics and what's going on with the economy at the moment. As we know, they bring us out of lockdown. How long for, we don't know. Is the cases rising? But fewest people on furlough since the pandemic began. As Boris Johnson said, we're going to build back better. And it is exactly what he said on the tin. He's always correct. He's always politically correct. All the government have been phenomenal so far since he's been in charge. I don't know why there's so much criticism in the social media, but it's proven that less people have been furloughed since the beginning. Number of people on furlough has fallen sharply, with young people moving off the government scheme fastest, new figures show. And in June, 1.9 million were still on furlough, the lowest level since the start of the pandemic, and 500,000 fewer than in May. In the last 3 months, younger people came off furlough twice as fast as all other age brackets. Almost 600,000 under 25 had left the scheme in that time, the Treasury has said. At the same time, more than 1 million people in hospitality and retail have left the scheme. Chancellor Rishi Sunak held the latest figures, saying they showed the government's policies were working. At the peak of the pandemic in May last year, nearly 9 million people were on furlough. The wage support scheme has been extended several times, but will end on the 30th of September. Lucy Walker Evans from Chepstow was working as an account manager for a global hotel chain when she was put on furlough in March last year. The 45-year-old spent the next 9 months on paid leave. At the time, she was found harrowing at first. It felt like you were skiving off work. You kept waiting for the phone to ring, constantly felt guilty, she told the BBC. There was lots of crying, lots of worry, and lots of uncertainty. In January, she was made redundant, but the time off had given her a chance to take stock. She realised she wanted a less stressful job and to work in charity, and by February, she had managed to find a role working at a local shelter for young homeless people, a job she loves. I've worked at a homeless shelter. I'll tell you what, it's such a rewarding job. Anyone out there, trying to get back on their feet, work in a homeless shelter. See, compassion is what drives people working throughout a homeless shelter and to see how deprived some human beings are in society. Hey, boy, how you doing, girl? Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming through, my doll. Hope you're well. She realised that, had I not been furloughed, I would never had the time to think about my career. So it was a transformational experience, really, she told BBC. I had a year to learn to live on the lowest salary. She realised you don't always need to chase the next pay rise. Oh, she's gone. Boy, you still here? I missed her again. Joe Shipping, Managing Director of Hatters Promotions, a promotional merchandise and print company in Stockport, said the furlough scheme had been a godsend for our businesses and staff. Without the furlough scheme, I would have to let people go. I'd just not have managed what she has said. I know for a fact I would not have been able to run my business. I would not have been able to embrace the change, and I would not have been able to adapt in the way we have adapted. Hatters was able to continue operating during the lockdown, but it pivoted away from the events and conferences to supplying products from companies looking to improve staff engagement. Miss Shipping said she had been really lucky that her staff were understanding about being furloughed. 11.6 billion workers covered by the UK furlough scheme since the start of the pandemic. Number of jobs furloughed per day. Under the coronavirus, shouldn't come back issue. Under the coronavirus job retention scheme, CJRS, known as furlough staff receive 8% of current salary, capped at £2,500 a month. Furlough would be wound down further from Sunday as the government sales firms to make a bigger contribution. Since the 1st of July, employees have been asked to contribute 10% towards their wages of furloughed workers for hours their staff do not work. The amount will rise up to 20% in August, September. The scheme drawn up earlier lengthy talks with businesses, groups and union leaders. It has cost taxpayers almost $50 billion to date. The rails and fees taxes will have to rise to pay for it. Since the start of the scheme, a cumulative total of 11.6 million jobs have been supported by the CJRS at various times. It is credited with stopping a spike in unemployment, and some fear jobs will be lost when it ends. But according to Tony Wilson, Director of the Institute of Employment Studies, the number of people furloughed has been dropping like a stone as industries start to reopen, while fears of a rush redundancies have been unfounded. Either employees are being brought back to work by their employers, or they're being taken off furlough and leaving the labour market, Mr Wilson told the BBC. That can be for young people to full-time education rather than seeking work. However, he noted some industries would be more exposed than others when the scheme finally ends. While support jobs such as office clearing, security and delivery could not be lost if workers do not go back to the office in the same numbers because of the rise of home working. The answer is not extending furlough, but reskilling people to take up the record number of the new vacancies being advertised, Mr Wilson said. Tom Waters, senior research economist at the Institute for Fiscal Studies, said there was no way to know exactly how many jobs would have been lost and for how long had the furlough scheme not existed. But given the unemployment has risen slightly since the start of the pandemic, despite the biggest fall in the GDP ever recorded, I think it's fair to say that the furlough has had a very significant impact on job retention, he added. The Trade Union Congress said it was great as so many people have been able to return to work from furlough, but added some firms still required it. Doubling the employer contribution is to make too much too soon, putting jobs at risk in some parts of the economy, said Francis O'Grady, Union's General Secretary. Laura Kearsley, Head of Employment, Law and Nelson Solicitors, believes a lot of employers will review their workforce in the light of the furlough support being removed. She thinks that might result in uptick in redundancies. I think we'll see a lot of employers trying to agree measures that keep people in a job, such as reductions in pay or reductions in hours, changes in operating models, she said. She had the advice for those fearing redundancy: find out about your rights, dig out the employment contract, whatever you signed when you joined. Ask for the company handbook or policy information about redundancy that should set out what you expect if you do find yourself in that situation. Moving on to a bit of criminology in Essex, ladies and gents. Thank you all for coming in. Appreciate it. A man punched in the face as he stood outside the Loughton pub. Police confirmed the alleged assault happened in Loughton in front of the Cottage Loaf pub at around 11 p.m. on Sunday, July 11th. Let's just not think about the offender and the offended, the victim. Let's think about people just going out for, just for a nice night, even out. Let's think about the landlord. Let's think about the provocation it's caused everyone else, rather than, there's a victim and there's a person, offender as well. Let's think about everything else involved. You've got NHS, you've got police, you've got people having a normal night out. One cause of a habit can ruin someone's night. It's obviously being a victim of a crime is awful. It's awful for the family. It's awful for their friends. It's awful for themselves. They've got to live with whatever the trauma is of the attack. It was reported that a victim, a 35-year-old man, was assaulted as he stood outside the pub and punched to the face with a head injury. The suspect left the scene after the incident. Officers are now investigating the incident and appealing for any information. The suspect has been described as white, approximately 5'7" tall and aged around mid-20s. He reportedly had dark blonde curtain-style hair with piercing light blue eyes. The spokesperson for Essex Police said anyone who was at the Cottage Loaf pub, a public house, that evening and witnessed the incident or the information that might help us is asked to call 101 or ask for PC 1397 Arnold at Loughton Police Station. You can also report information via our digital 101 service or our website essexpolice.uk, quoting our crime reference 42/13401/21, or you can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. if you did see it or hear of it or know it, see anything in social media, make sure you report it, because you could be saving someone's life. And next up could be your niece, your nephew, your brother, your sister. So let's put these complete idiots behind bars if necessary. Next one's a bit of a shock. Man admits sharing Islamic State beheaded videos. British man who went to Syria to join the Islamic State, ISIS group, has admitted sharing beheaded videos. Stefan Aristiadou, 27, entered guilty pleas for terrorism offences at Old Bailey and will be sentenced in September. BBC research reveals he is the 14th person convicted of terror charges out of hundreds who returned to Syria after joining the jihadist groups. Research shows that 3% of returnees have been convicted of such offences. Aristiadou from Enfield in North London travelled to Syria in April 2015 with Kulsuma Begum, who had been married shortly before. It's not Shamina Begum, it's Kulsuma Begum. Don't know if they're related. The pair were reported missing by concerned family members. Aristiadou, who is a Cypriot origin, is a convert to Islam. The couple spent time living in Raqqa, that's then the capital of the Islamic State, self-declared Caliphate, and had a baby while living in Syria. Turkish censors. They were later arrested crossing into Turkey in April 2017. Both were convicted in a Turkish court in October 18 of being part of ISIS. They were each sentenced to more than 6 years in prison, although Kulsuma Begum was convicted in her absence, having already had returned to the UK with their child. Aristiadou was deported in February this year and arrested on arrival at Heathrow Airport. He had a phone with him, which had been used since before the arrest in Turkey, April 2018. It contained text exchange with his wife, ending with him saying he was giving himself into kafir, or non-Muslims. The 4 offences Aristiadou has now admitted were committed in 2014 before he went to Syria. He pleaded not guilty to 3 similar offences, and prosecutors will ask for these changes to be left lie on file. Few prosecutions. The case highlights the challenge of prosecuting people for their actions in Syria. The government has previously said more than 900 people from the UK went to Syria to join the jihadist groups. A senior M15 official said this year that about half have since returned to the UK, equating to about 50 people. The government has given shifting figures to Parliament on the number of references prosecuted. 2016. It says the Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, has prosecuted 35 cases involving 54 defendants who were suspected of having fought in the region, with 13 ongoing prosecutions involving 30 defendants. In 2018, the Home Office Minister said approximately 40 people have been prosecuted, either because of activities in Syria or links to the conflict there. 2019, the government clarified these 40 people had changed with the ranges of offences, not limited to those covered by terrorism legislation, and in some cases might not even raise they had been investigated for non-terror offences because of their engagement of terrorism. The government has never confirmed how many of these people have actually been prosecuted for terror offences. Last year, in response to the Freedom of Information request from the BBC, the Home Office said it does not hold the information. Few convictions. However, research by the BBC, which examined all the recent terrorism prosecutions, have found that only 14 people who crossed into Syria have been convicted of terror offences after return to Britain. The first case was in 2014, with Aristiadou, the most recent. The figures mean that approximately 3% of 450 returnees have been convicted of terror offences. 5 people in total have been convicted of 15 membership, but only 2 of them are returnees from Syria. The other 3 people have joined the group in the UK, meaning individuals are more likely to be charged with 15 memberships if they never went to Syria. Kurdish militia. Separately, 4 people have fought against ISIS. The Kurdish YPG militia were charged with terror offences and returning to Britain. The number who went to join the YPG are now placed as low as 30, suggesting a higher proportion of YPG fighters were charged with terror offences despite receiving Western military support in their campaign against ISIS. No one who returned to the UK after joining jihadist groups have been charged with offences under war, crime or torture legislation, which provide an avenue of prosecution for crimes committed outside the UK borders. Hope you are. Good evening, Deirdre. Hope you're well, girl. Thank you for popping in. Essex crime. Dangerous predator found guilty of sexually assaulting 3 women in Southend in 3 days during the lockdown. He was found guilty on last Friday, July 23rd. A man was found guilty of sexually assaulting in 3 days in spring 2020, following his last trial last week between March 31st, 2020 and April 2nd, 2020. Albert Stone carried out 3 attacks in Southend. During the first attack, Stone attacked a woman who was exercising by the cliff steps at a Cliffs Pavilion Theatre. She shouted at him and continued on her walk. The day after, he attacked a woman who stopped to pick something up off the floor, also in Southend. Stone's final attack was carried out on April 2nd in Chalkwell Park. He forced a woman walking through the park to the floor and assaulted her. His victim managed to struggle free after kicking out a Stone and shouting out for help. Following each attack, Stone's victims were able to give a detailed description of Stone, allowing officers to find him following a search of the area. She was arrested shortly after his 3rd final attack. He was charged with 1 course assaults of penetration and 3 counts of sexual assault. He denied the charges but found guilty on Friday 23rd from a trial based in Crown Court. He'll be sentenced at the same time on Monday 23rd August. After his conviction, investigator officer Detective Constable Gary Fernan from Police Essex Adult Sexual Investigation Team said Albert Stone is clearly a dangerous sexual predator who targeted women on their own during the national lockdown, knowing that there would be a few witnesses to the attacks. The descriptions they provide to the police at Stone were very important in helping us link the attacks and identify them. These would be terrifying incidents, and I admire the courage that have been shown. It's happening a lot, but human trafficking, children trafficking is the worst one. It's just sexual exploitation at its worst. Anyway, ladies and gents, it's Thursday night. It's coming up to the weekend. I'm not going to keep you for long. I expect you to have a bit of escaping, enjoy your family time. You don't have to tune in for the whole duration. I could talk for hours. I don't know if some of you guys at work and your headphones in. I apologise for cutting the show short. But I feel flabbergasted. I feel drained. I feel very drained. I've been out of hospital today. I've had checks. Got bad back, bad neck. I have a Raynaud's disease. It's playing up my hands and feet. Anxiety's kicking in. The winter's coming. But thank you all for joining, and we appreciate everyone supporting the show. Give me some acknowledgement, encouragement. It ain't easy on your own, believe me. You got to keep pursuing a career that you enjoy, and this is exactly what I enjoy. Try and support the nation as a whole. It's the main thing. Anyway, guys, take care. One love. Always give something back to the democracy where I can. If any of you do listen and you hear something that comes in the horizon that may affect your family, please come forward. If you are an alienated father or mother and you need support to try and get contact with children again, I am your man to help you fill out the forms. So please leave your details on the show and I'll do what I can. Take care. One love. and speak soon. Oh, I lost the freaking show now. I think I just lost the whole freaking show. What's going to kill it? The whole freaking, what's going on? Why is it stopping?